O'Neill, and welcome to today's Facebook Live. Today we're talking about release your identity with your thoughts and be who you truly are. Release your identity with your thoughts and be who you truly are. I'm the founder of this Facebook group, Answering the Call, and the purpose of this group is to support those of us who and by call I mean we have this inner call, this inner sense that there's something else in life. There's something missing in my life, kind of something missing in the world, that we sense there's something just off in the world, and or that something's missing in our lives. Is this all there is? Is there something else for me to do or be here? Is there something more? So we come here to answer that call, and then to learn what we're always seeking is within us. What we are longing for is the invitation to return to the source of that longing, which is ourselves. And so today, specifically, we're talking about our thoughts and how we identify with our thoughts, and that's not who we are. So how do we free ourselves, liberate ourselves of the thoughts so we can be and live as who we truly are? Welcome. If you're live, please say hi. Let me know you're here. Hey, Sharon, hello. Thank you for being here. And if you're watching this on replay, please put in hashtag replay and say hi. And if you have any questions, comments, whether you're here live or on the replay, please let me know. And today, you're here or you're watching this on replay for some reason. What brought you here today? So I want you to think about that. And you can post it if you want, but and if you hadn't really thought about it before, maybe you come here all the time or watch them just because, but now that you've heard the topic again, is there a question? Is there that you'd like to see answered? Is there I guess that's the best way I can put it. So is there something you're curious about, want an answer to, would like to know as you're here with us today? Just jot that down. If you want to put it in the comments, fine. And the reason I'm inviting you to do that is as we go to the end, you can look back at that question. Hopefully I'll remember to ask you, look back at the question, and I'm going to write it down, and or the what you're curious about or whatever you wrote, and see if you got the answer to that or the information that you were looking for. Excuse me, I seem to have a frog in my throat. Okay, so our thoughts. Our thoughts come and go. Now, many of us don't really realize that because we're always paying attention to our thoughts. We've never really stopped and noticed that our thoughts are always changing. They come and go, like clouds in the sky. Clouds come and go, and they change, and they don't stay very long, and they just arise and disappear. Just like our liver produces bile, we can't stop it. It just happens. That's the same with our mind. Thoughts just come, thoughts just go. And yet we have learned to identify with them. So it happens somewhere really early on, after we were born, and when we first come into the world, everything's just one as far as the infant is concerned. There's no separation. And then early on, a parent usually starts saying, hi, Peggy, or this is Peggy, or meet Peggy, or Peggy, how are you doing? And Peggy, talks to I'm not talking very well for a baby, talk to a baby, but hey, Peggy, we talk until eventually something kind of clicks in the infant that, oh, I am Peggy. And then from then on, we start identifying with our thoughts as that's who we are. I'm a little girl, I'm a woman, I'm 5, I'm 49, I'm 52, I'm a lawyer, I'm a coach, I'm whatever, or I'm tired, I'm lonely, I'm angry, I'm happy. And without knowing it, notice how we finish that sentence, I am, with some sort of qualifications, adjectives. So because of our language and because of our conditioning and then because of our early thought process that we continue, we identify with those thoughts. And yet, that's not who we are. We are not a lawyer or happy, or we're not those things. Those things are always changing. So who we essentially are has to be something that never changes. Our thoughts are always changing. Our bodies are always changing. So our thoughts about our bodies then, because our bodies are always changing. And if we think the same thought over and over again and we believe it's true, then that becomes a belief. Or if we think it's true, it becomes a belief. And so we identify it. So thoughts and beliefs are really the same thing. It's just but a belief is just a thought we've thought a lot and that we have taken on as true. And yet we've been told if we want something to be different in our lives, we've got to change our thoughts. I mean, I taught that too many years ago. So we've got to change our thoughts, get rid of thoughts. Don't think those thoughts anymore. Control your thoughts. Although I've never said that because I've known we can't control our thoughts. If you think you can control your thought, jot that down right now and then do an experiment as soon as we finish and sit there and try to hold on to a thought. We can't control our thoughts. If we could control our thoughts, all we would ever think are positive things, right? Positive things, good things, happy things, but we can't control our thoughts. So that's useful to know. We can't control our thoughts. So we also can't control like getting rid of them. So notice I said release in the title. I didn't say I mean, we want to get rid of them, but I didn't say that's what we're going to learn to do or talk about today. We're not going to get rid of them. We're going to release them. So we'll get to that in just a minute. So we can think about, too, what are some beliefs or thoughts that we have about ourselves that aren't in alignment with what we want. Because that's really why we want to change thoughts and beliefs, right? Because when we think them, we don't feel good about ourselves or feel, you know, even though good's not a feeling, but whatever feelings we put in the category of good or bad, we don't like them, and they don't align with what we want. And so think about what are some, like I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I don't know how, or oh, these people are going to expect this or that of me, and so then I feel compelled to do it, or feel guilty or something if I don't. That I'm not capable of something, or any sort of limitations, or as well as explanations for why things will or won't happen. All those are sorts of thoughts. So you can think, are there any thoughts that you wish you didn't have? And that wishing is some sort of sense that we don't have to relate to these thoughts. If we thought that we had to keep them or believe them truly all the time, we wouldn't have some sense that we don't have to think that, or we wish we didn't think that. We just wouldn't do that. At least that's what I think. So what we do is, instead of trying to get rid of them, trying to control them, which again we can't, then what we do is we release them, which means we just don't pay attention to them. We don't pay attention to them. We can say to ourselves, I'm turning my attention away from them, or I remove my attention from these thoughts or from activities. I remove my attention, I withdraw my attention, I turn the other way. Whatever works for you to begin to release those thoughts, not pay attention to them, not get involved with them. What you really want to do is use your human capacity to focus and put your attention on something. So you'll notice that between thoughts there's a space. And I'll pause here for a second or two so that you can see if you can notice that space. There's just a slight space between thoughts. In fact, at one time I heard it was like 1/132nd or something like that of a second. But there is a space there. And so we want to notice that space and then put our attention on that space. So again, that space might have been a little hard to focus on the first time, but how you can do that is just notice, oh, I'm thinking whatever I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm not happy, or I'm not good enough, or I mean, you might be thinking this is a wonderful day. That's fine, because then we identify with that. Of course, that's a day, but I'm feeling wonderful because the day is good. So that's an identification, again, with a thought or an experience. Instead of, we want to identify with who we truly are, which is the one being that we are. Infinite, spacious, vast, loving, peaceful, contented. Whatever adjectives apply that um, that that sense of stillness that we are. Well, no words are adequate, but it's that sense of stillness, that peace. So what we do is we focus on the space between thoughts. So again, so when we notice thoughts, we can just go, I'm not going to pay attention to those, and then turn your attention to an empty space. You can think about it that way. I'm just focusing on an empty space. Just let thoughts go and put your attention there. And pretty quickly, thoughts are going to come back because we're used to paying attention to them. And so at the beginning, when we first learn how to do this and try to do it, it's very hard. It's very hard. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. But you do it 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. I mean, you won't be able to stay in the space for 5 minutes, but you'll stay focused on the space for, let's say, 5 minutes. And then as thoughts arise, which they will, you just don't get involved with them. It's very hard because we're used to getting involved with them. Like, oh, you need to go get some milk at the store. Oh, yeah, and I need to get some tuna too. And that's where our thoughts go. As soon as you notice that, you come back to that space and focus on that space. And then you'll notice over time as you focus on the space that because you're not focused on thoughts and all that activity, you'll start noticing some peace there, spaciousness. Maybe even a loving feeling. I do. I feel loving feelings. So it's stillness and openness. And that's who we are. And again, when I emphasize that it was hard at first, but that's okay. That's okay. We're answering the call, and the call is to know this experience, know the being that we are, and to be able to live from that place. So that's okay. We can either keep identifying with things that get us distracted and help us not live the lives that we want, or we can focus on, oh, no, this is where I want to be. I want to be in this space. And also, the longer that we do this and get used to living as that and letting thoughts then recede, they'll start receding. Then new thoughts will come in that align with that spaciousness, align with where consciousness wants us, how consciousness wants us to live our lives and fulfill our unique expression. And then things will shift in our lives aligned with that spaciousness, and new thoughts will appear over time. I lost my train of thought, but I think I still conveyed what I meant to there. So when we try to control our thoughts, we create resistance. So it's, again, don't even try to control thoughts, because when we do that, we're creating resistance. So we're still focusing on our thoughts. They're getting our attention. So you want to just keep coming back here, and then we experience the freedom that we naturally are too, because when we're identified with our thoughts, we're not free, because now our thoughts are really dictating our life. So we're not free to be who we are and to live how we really want to. We're letting our thoughts run our lives, and we get involved with them and pay attention to them. So you just keep coming back to this space. New ideas will come. That's probably what I was thinking of a minute ago. New ideas will come, any new direction. It's all there. We just have to allow it if we want those possibilities. So we just don't put our attention on our thoughts. And think about it too, with regard to trying to control or get rid of something. What do we feel? We feel, with that controlling energy is like tightness, restriction, and forceful. And so it's inconsistent with our essential nature, which is allowing. So the more that we're aligned with our essential nature, we just allow the thoughts. They're coming and going. Just allow them. Just like we allow our liver to produce bile. We don't do anything about that, right? Same sort of thing. If you can start having that relationship with thoughts, it'll make a world of difference in your life, in your relationships, in how you live and express yourself, what's possible for you. So to be that open, allowing space, because that's what freedom is, right? Freedom, when we feel free, we feel alive and open. That's what's possible. That's the call that we're answering, is to live that way. So again, what you do is put your attention on the space between thoughts. It's not easy at the beginning, but over time it gets a lot easier. And just start with 5 minutes a day. Just start there. Don't even try to start 5 minutes at a time here and there throughout the day. Build up to 20 minutes, maybe build up to an hour. Don't put pressure on yourself. Don't look for anything to happen, because that's a form of resistance too. Oh, good, now I'll get rid of my thoughts by doing this. Now we're just creating resistance. We're not really allowing them anymore. We've got an agenda attached. So don't look, and that'll be probably challenging at the beginning too, because we're so used to, when we take action, do something, we want a result, and we want it soon, and we want to know what it's going to be. Well, to live the life that we're really here to live, that's not going to happen a lot of the time. We're not going to know ahead of time. We're going to let ourselves be lived by consciousness, the universe, ourselves, and then we listen. Then as we release the thoughts that are aligned with our finite, conditioned self, limited self, other thoughts appear. Then we know what to do. We know what to do next. We know how to be next. We know a direction. We could have some sense of, oh, this is where I'm going. But it won't be out of a thinking mind. It'll be out of a sense, a knowing. So, I mean, it's quite fascinating. I love this journey. It's the most exciting, interesting journey that I've ever been on. And so know that's a piece of it too, as you take on this exercise. Okay, so I said I'd try to remember, and I did. So whatever you wrote down at the beginning of our time together now, did that get answered? Or what question do you have that's still unanswered? Or did you get the information that you wanted? Maybe it wasn't quite an answer, but some sort of information. So let me know. And even besides that, do you have any other questions or comments with regard to this topic, releasing our identity with our thoughts and being who we truly are? Anything? Okay, I'm waiting a second. Well, I'll wait a few more seconds by saying this. I have reopened a registration for the Wild Ones. It's still open through this Sunday. There are reasons for that I don't need to get into. But anyway, so I'll reopen until through this Sunday. So if you're at all interested in exploring living this way and having the support that helps you stay the course and get questions answered and continue to help you release beliefs and emotions and whatever's in your way from living as who you truly are, then DM me or email me at peggy-o'neal.com, and we'll schedule a time to talk and explore what this can be for you. And I would love for you to explore and possibly join us starting really soon. Okay, so it looks like no questions or comments. Thank you for being, oh, there you go, Sharon. Thoughts lead to feelings, which lead to more thoughts, on and on. So by releasing the thoughts, our life becomes more free from feelings. Beautifully said, Sharon. Beautifully said. Yes. And let me fine tune. I'm sure you mean this. Becomes more free from the feelings that we don't like or that don't work for us. Yes, we're not then reacting to feelings or being triggered or activated by feelings so much, because we will still feel. We're feeling beings. But they'll have a different quality to them. Yeah, negative feelings. Yeah. I mean, and again, I know what you're saying exactly, Sharon. It's the challenge of being on Facebook. But to clarify for everybody is that we won't always feel good either. You know, this doesn't mean life is going to be perfect. It'll definitely mean, I mean, it is perfect when we know who we truly are. Then we really get it. It's all perfect all the time. And yet, we might experience some suffering or some hard times that we'll have a totally different relationship with them. And then the negative feelings really won't be negative feelings. They'll be, we have a different understanding of them and appreciation of them, allowing of them, and being with them in a way that we honor them So there's a difference between feelings that they're egoic feelings, like I don't like this. That's what causes suffering, either liking or not liking something. Or when we like something, we can get attached to it, and that causes suffering when it's not there anymore because it's going to eventually go away. Everything goes away. Uh, but when we, but with the other kind of feelings, like we can be sad that a friend is leaving, or Queen Elizabeth just died today. I'm sure a lot of people. I felt some sadness when I heard that the first time. But that wasn't an egoic like, oh, my life's messed up because of this. It was a sadness because, life well lived, beautiful woman that has now moved on, and just things it'll be different. So there was just sadness because of that change, but it's not an egoic one. It's more of an existential one, a one of knowing we're all one, and that a lot of people are going to be impacted by that moving on of Queen Elizabeth. And so exactly what Sharon's saying. So if that, I think you can hear that, hopefully, so it's not really a negative feeling at that point because it's not personal. It's a humanity sort of feeling rather than, oh, my life's a mess because this person died. We do that. We can do that. We can totally make it an egoic thing, and we'll still feel sad if a loved one dies. But it can be real egoic, or it can be the sadness of the person's not with me in person anymore, and I love this person. I hope all that makes sense. If not, you can ask me a question, post a comment, email me, ask me anytime. All right, so thank you again for being here today. Thanks again, Sharon, so much for contributing. You always add richness and depth and help us expand on our conversation here. So thank you so much for being here and for your sharing. See y'all next week.